Ken Trahan along with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview brought to you by First NBC Bank with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. High school football, we'll start there because we got the First NBC Bank Prep Showcase continuing Friday night live at SportsNola.com with St. Charles Catholic hosting East Jefferson. Two really good teams in their classes. East Jeff won last year. You can watch it live at 7 on SportsNola.com Friday night. Tape delayed Saturday at noon on WHNO Channel 20, and this is a good one, Lenny.
Well, it's about time we're going to have a good one here because we've had a couple of blowouts in a jamboree and a blowout in week one, and ideally this will be a very competitive game to the very end. You got two teams in the top 10 of their respective classes, two teams that have won state championships within the last 3 years. So, some solid history as well as solid teams. This year, it shapes up to be a pretty good game, I think.
And, of course, we have our original on WGSO 990 AM. You can watch it live at SportsNola.com and statewide on all of our stations on Friday night from 6 to midnight coverage. It is Brother Martin night at Bears, Po' Boys, and at Gennaro's, Metairie Road, and Causeway. So be there, Brother Martin fans. And, of course, leads us to Saturday. We've got radio with Brother Martin against John Ehret at 2:30. That's on WRBH 88.3 FM. WRBH 88.3 FM and WRBH.org. Saturday night, radio and SportsNola.com. It is Edna Carr in St. Augustine. Big crowd, big game as always. 7 o'clock. You can stream it live, watch it live at SportsNola.com, and you'll hear the audio from WGSO 990 AM. That should be a good one.
It should be. And, looking forward to a good Saturday of football there. A good weekend of football in all. We got some great games going on in Southeast Louisiana. You get up to the northern part of the state. You've got a showdown of a couple of state champions going head-to-head, and you've also got the event in Shreveport at Independence Stadium where that should create some terrific intra-state matchups as well. John Curtis headed up there for a game on Saturday against Lufkin, Texas.
Yeah, 6 games in the Battle on the Border. Starts Friday, 4 games on Saturday, and it should be outstanding. Turning to college football, Tulane at home against Southeastern Louisiana. That is Saturday night. Won't be as hot at Yeoman Stadium. And the big question is Tanner Lee and whether or not he's going to play and whether or not he's going to start. And that's a big item for Tulane against a very good FCS team.
Absolutely. They need Lee to be able to be as effective as they want to be on offense, not to take anything away from Devin Powell, who did a nice job in relief, but was not able to get them into the end zone. Now, obviously, Powell getting a few more reps. Lee did not practice early in the week. If he can get himself ready to go and be cleared to play, then I think he is clearly the choice and will go as far as he can go. It was brought up, and I think it's a valid point that, do you try to give Powell a series, not so much as a changeup, but in the event that something like this happens again to help get him ready for that? I wouldn't think that's out of the question either. So we'll see how Curtis Johnson chooses to play at Southeastern. Maybe the best FCS team in the country, with apologies to folks up in North Dakota. But they're outstanding, and they're certainly a contender to be playing in January in Frisco, Texas for the championship.
Heat issues got a lot of Green Wave players last week, including Sherman Beatty, and they really missed him. I'm sure he'll be hydrated and ready to go. Southeastern, Bennett's a great quarterback, and of course the story there, Jordan Baptiste, who was one of Tulane's 2 best defensive players a year ago, and now he's wearing the Lions uniform.
Yeah, he's just switched that accent color from blue to gold, so still in green, just the same. But just certainly that's an interesting sidebar in all of this, and he will be on the field along with some other solid FBS level transfers. Bennett being one of those, of course. He's been there in his second year now. And so you've got some guys who can obviously play at the highest level who have chosen to get an opportunity to go play at Southeastern.
LSU will host Louisiana-Monroe. The Warhawks coming off of a win. They'll be motivated, and LSU played extremely well last week. They'll have to show up to play well this week to ensure that they would win. They will get Elliott Porter back from Shaw at center, but looks like they lose their big play guy, and Traven Durrell, don't know if he'll play right now. That's very shaky because he was in an accident, and it's unsure as to whether he can even put a helmet on at this point.
Right, that's the big thing. If he can play, he will play, Les Miles said. So it's it's one of those wait and see things, and I think it's the type of thing as well that you can probably err to the side of caution with ULM coming to town. Obviously, a big one the following Saturday against Mississippi State. You'd certainly like to have him ready for that one. this is a decent Monroe team. Don't let anything fool you there. That obviously they're not a Power 5 conference team. They've beaten Wake Forest. They've won their conference opener. So they're a decent football team. And obviously when you get teams from within the state trying to come into Tiger Stadium and play, it's probably a lot of guys coming in with a chip on their shoulder. Or maybe LSU didn't recruit and say, hey, I want to show them what I can do.
And, of course, that takes us to Sunday, where the New Orleans Saints try to scratch for the first time as they play at Cleveland against the Browns. You know what happened in week 1 with the Saints. I think their defense will be suitably motivated. They've heard it all week long. I'm sure it bothers them. I'm sure they'll play better. They're going to need to play better, Lenny, because I think we'll find out pretty quickly whether this was an aberration or whether it's something to be very concerned with.
I agree. And, was the new look of 2013 a new look that kind of threw people off, or is this 2014 defense closer to what we saw in 2012? I tend to think it's closer to 2013, and it was an aberration, although obviously when you average giving up 309 yards per game a year ago and you give up 560-plus in the opener, that's almost double. It's the second most yards given up in franchise history, the most passing yards. We've seen all the numbers, but you got to get back, focused and on the task at hand. And this is a Cleveland team that will be without their starting running back, but the backup West in his debut was very solid. Sean Payton elaborated on him quite a bit at his Wednesday press conference, and that he got a chance to see him play in college and actually took a look at him, at least evaluating him for the draft potentially. Cleveland's a dangerous team, and the other X factor in all of this, dare we bring it up, is Johnny Football. Will we see him on the field? He did not play in week 1. It's Cleveland's home opener. Will they have a package for him to put out there? Obviously, he changes the whole dynamic of what the Browns would do on offense.
And of course, it's going to be interesting. And the Saints, Stillwater's run deep. Couple of notes on Stills. Kenny Stills may not play again. We'll see with that quad. And a young man named Still who's playing football for the Bengals, has been treated very well by that organization. Also treated very well by Sean Payton, who's donated quite a bit of money to a wonderful cause for his daughter who's quite sick. And these are the kind of things you really enjoy talking about and enjoy reading and presenting with all the negative news that's out there.
Exactly. This has been a week for the NFL. It is filled with negative news. It's good to see something good happen, and kudos to Sean Payton and the Saints for stepping up and buying 100 jerseys at $100 a pop. Do the math. That's $10,000 to help support the Cincinnati Children's Hospital and their research towards children's cancer. So it's a horrible thing, and it's horrible that this young man is having to go through this with his 4-year-old daughter. But it's great that Sean Payton and the Saints organization stepped up to try to help the cause.
We bring you some good news as well. It's not all negative. It's all good. So that leads us to the weekend. It should be a good one. So watch sportsnola.com. Click on us daily, 24/7. You'll get all the information you want to get, I'm sure. And we look forward to you doing so. Lenny, have a great weekend.
Yeah, let's remind people as well, our All-State Sugar Bowl scoreboard is the place to get all of your high school football scores. With the new look to our site now, it's a lot easier to view the scoreboard on your phones when you're at the games to keep up with everything else that's going on. Heard from people who did a lot of that in week 1. Hopefully more of you will do it in week 2 and check out what's going on all around the state in terms of high school football.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
We'll see you Monday.
That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank, with 32 locations throughout the greater New Orleans area and beyond. That's First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.